Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramanda.
I'm Christine.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Malika.
Just last week, the Washington Post ran an article about a transgender immigrant who is now facing deportation after a confidential note from a therapy session when he was against it. While our topic of discussion may not be about the refugee crisis, my team and I believe important parallels can be drawn between this case and that of the youth in Harris County juvenile justice system, namely as it relates to flaws in interagency data sharing. In our presentation, we will discuss how our proposed improvements to data sharing will significantly help dual status youth. But before we start, let's define who dual status youth are. Dual status youth are youth involved with both the child welfare and juvenile justice system. Next, we'll discuss trends in the population and why we decided to concentrate here. Alright, so 56% of dual status youth have experienced at least one traumatic life event, which is anything from sexual, emotional, to physical abuse. Dual status youth also tend to have higher rates of recidivism, as well as higher rates of academic failure, mental health problems, and substance abuse issues. A trend that is increasingly evident within the dual status youth population is that youth of color also tend to be disproportionately represented. African American children are present in the population at a rate that is twice the national average, as can be seen in this graph. Now moving on to some Harris County specific statistics. As of 2018, there are 138 dual status youth present in Harris County, and about half of these youth are currently in the criminal justice system. Now looking at the graph on the right, you can see that this aligns with the national statistics at the time.
As Melissa described, dual status youth face a lot of unique challenges and needs. However, due to a lack of information and interagency collaboration, they're unable to receive that support and those services. For example, dual status youth are far more likely to be sent and detained and sent to group homes rather than like residential family homes, leading to further destabilization and higher rates of entering the criminal justice system. As you can see through this graph, Texas is very far behind in terms of interagency communication and collaboration. Part of the issues that make it difficult for specifically like child protection services and juvenile justice system to work together is because of the conflicting like missions and values. Child protection services is really focused on helping the individual youth with their own well-being, whereas the juvenile justice system focuses more on community safety and keeping the youth accountable for their actions. However, as we mentioned before, data sharing is so important and can be so powerful in making sure that the youth receive the services that they need. With more information, judges can make better decisions about how to place and create case plans for youth. In addition, policymakers can make better programs to help youth throughout their journey through both systems. And in addition, with youth having high levels of trauma coming into them, repeated screenings and assessments increase incidence of re-traumatization. So we applaud Harris County for the steps it has already taken towards juvenile justice reform, especially with the Texas Criminal Justice Coalition and also the crossover youth practice model, which we'll discuss later. They've also funded current legislation mentioned here. What our proposed policy solution will do is build on the crossover youth practice model, which has already been implemented in Harris County. We will also model our improvements according to the successful data sharing system already in place in Bexar County, Texas. We will do this in 4 steps. In our first step, we'll have our information review. Our probation officer and child welfare caseworker are required to meet in person with the youth's caregiver if possible to review the information that they have on the youth. In our second step, we will determine the possibility. The 2 workers will determine the lead agency that will have the primary responsibility of ensuring that the services and goals of the case plan are followed. In our third step, we will recommend a joint disposition between the 2 workers, and we will present it to the juvenile court. In our fourth step, we'll assess the progress and have joint field visits whenever possible.
Some things to consider when we talk about data sharing. We have to consider the protection of privacy. That's very important, and adhering to the legislation already in place for that protection of privacy. And also the total involvement of multiple systems for cross-sharing data. Also, trainings to maintain ethical data sharing. And most importantly, quality assurance to make sure that the agreements that were written are actually being followed through. So in conclusion, we'd like to propose dual status youth cross-system data sharing to improve upon the model that Harris County already has and to continue to protect and serve the dual status youth population. We'd like to thank these people too.
We have 2 minutes for questions.
I don't remember if you mentioned it in your presentation, but did you have an estimate of how many youth are currently considered dual status in our current system right now? Do you have an estimate?
Yeah, so it was in our slide, about 138 youth are currently indicated as dual status youth in Harris County.
And I think one of the last presentations showed some of your proposal would be to add more, like, not add, but make sure there's like mentoring and other support services.
Those programs are already in place and we applaud Harris County for that, but we did realize that there was flaws in data sharing, and so we wanted to focus our efforts there instead, since programs like the one you mentioned, the mentoring services, had already existed.
Do you think you could accomplish this with, and I know you'd have to dig deeper into the weeds, but do you think you could accomplish it with existing personnel right now and just change the sharing of information and that would be effective, or do you see this needing additional staff?
So Harris County has already implemented the crossover youth practice model, and so a grant has been provided for that, and personnel have already been working on that. So we would just require them to make the extra effort to track dual status youth going here, from here.
Okay, thank you.
What do you see as the problem now in terms of, is there just no tracking of the dual status youth throughout the system? Or I mean, aren't these individuals still given whatever mentoring or counseling or assistance, or is that not given at all?
So the dual status youth are given those services, however, it's extremely siloed. So they'll receive it from like child protection services and juvenile justice system, but it's not like in a collaborative manner. So there's a lot of instances actually where dual status youth will be given like an intake assessment and like a risk assessment from like both sides, and like that causes a lot of cost to both systems because you're doing the same thing twice, but it also re-traumatizes you. So in some ways, there's still a gap because both of the agencies are operating like separately on the individual instead of working together. Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the